Take me under. She was feeling kinda lonely late one night, hoping she could get away.
Tyler, how are you today?
I'm very good, and you?
I'm doing well, Tyler. Thank you. So, how was your day
Good.
so far?
Well, so far it's been a bit crazy. You know, that's the thing about making music is you got to make money to make music, and
Yeah.
that's why we've got day jobs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Cool, cool. So, Tyler, your new album, Rising After Midnight, was out on September 1st. So, would you like to tell me a bit about the songwriting and production behind this new album?
Of course. So with Rising After Midnight, we really wanted to try and stick to what we know in terms of writing, as well as try and sort of also remove our comfort zone with certain songs like Divide, where we definitely reached out of our comfort zone. So yeah, that was that. In terms of the songwriting, if we start at the beginning of the entire album, you start with Nightcrawler and Take Me Under. It really is that more classic Marine sound with that sort of classic rock kind of feel and vibe. And then, of course, as the album goes on, I think it has that nice sort of change where we start discovering sort of more synth solos and sort of more sort of heavier synth sounds with, like I said, with Divide. And then right at the end, we sort of ended off in classic Marine style with a nice old sing-along crowd classic.
Fantastic, fantastic. And just Rising After Midnight has some kind of concept or a theme behind it.
Yeah, so Rising After Midnight, it really is about the fact that, as a band, we've always wanted to be different to what everyone else did. Everyone else goes out there and, they don't really think about more than just the music, whereas we've always seen ourselves as thinking about the show aspect, being inspired by bands like Kiss and Iron Maiden and Van Halen and things like that. And so we really wanted to sort of be the band that we never got to see live because in the South African market, um, you know, bands don't normally put a lot of effort into the way they're seen on stage or the show aspect. They mainly just, sit and play music the way that you would hear it if you were just listening to it through your earphones. And so with Marene, we wanted to sort of take inspiration from Kiss, Van Halen, and all those sort of bands and really put on the show that people come to see at a live show. Because a lot of bands that even come and play South Africa aren't those classic rock bands. They're mainly sort of more chilled pop stars. And so with us, like I said, we wanted to take inspiration from that, but put our own spin on it. And with Rising After Midnight, it was really sort of a declaration to say, hey, here we are. This is what we're doing, and we're ready to take up the challenge and rise to it.
Fantastic, fantastic. And talking about the album, 9 amazing songs, beautifully written, great musicianship, fantastic vocals, and like you earlier said, there's a lot of influence from classic rock with a lot of new touches from Marine itself. So it all come together and it sounds fantastic. And I want to thank you guys so much for putting up this amazing album this year. And as a band, what are your thoughts and how do you guys feel about the outcome?
Well, I have to say that first of all, thank you very much for telling me that. It definitely, getting support from people like yourselves, as well as the people that listen in, it really, really makes what we do have meaning, because that's the reason we get up on stage in the first place, is to make music for people who love music and people who love that sort of sound. And so, thank you very much for telling me that. It really means a lot. So in terms of how we're feeling about the release, of course, we're super excited because we got onto the official South African Spotify rock playlist, which is really awesome for us. Because obviously that means that we're sort of getting into the sort of mainstream sort of market here. Although rock as a genre is not very popular in the country, we of course still it's a great honor to be involved in that sort of ring of things. But yeah, I mean, we couldn't be happier with the way the album sounds, and it was mixed over, I think, 4 months because we really took our time with it to make sure that it sounded the way that we wanted it to sound. So yeah, I mean, it's the first time we're putting out a full-length album, and we could not be happier. I think the songs speak for themselves.
Really fantastic. And this Saturday, you guys are gonna do the album launch show. So how
Yes,
excited
yes.
are you guys?
Yeah, no, the album launch coming out this Saturday. It's going to be really cool. We're planning on filming it actually, so we will see if that comes to fruition. But it's going to be awesome because we're going to be pulling out all the stops. I mean, we've been rehearsing every day now for the past 3 days in person because the band's actually split out across the country. So if you're familiar with South Africa, you know Johannesburg is up north, Cape Town is in the south, and so. Um, Myself and the keyboardist, we stay in Gauteng, which is Johannesburg, and then the rest of the band stay in Cape Town. So we made the track down here. We've been rehearsing over Zoom because Zoom is a beautiful platform, and we've made the track down. We actually finally got all into the same room together on Saturday. So we've been putting the show together since then, and we've been doing that since 10 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock in the evening. So we're all feeling a bit tired. I think the older we get, the harder it gets to do it. But I think that for Saturday it's gonna be awesome when we hit that stage again. It's gonna feel great.
Fantastic. And talking about the touring, what are the plans for 2024, 2023, and earlier 2024? Do you have some concrete plans on the touring part?
No concrete plans yet. But you know, the thing is with us is that a lot of the time we try and focus on putting on the best possible performance at each sort of thing that we have planned out. So we don't plan out too far ahead. We like to focus on what we have going on now, and then of course take it from there. So we've got the album launch coming out, then we're playing a festival up north in Johannesburg in 2 weeks' time, and then yeah, from there we'll see sort of where it takes us. You know, we're trying to definitely make the transition into being more of a festival band and doing more festivals because the type of music we play and the type of show we put on with choreography and with lights and in terms of our overall stage presence really, really caters itself for that big festival sort of band. So we're trying to get more out of the smaller clubs and and things like that and get more into the festivals. So that's kind of our next big goal.
Awesome, awesome. And since the formation of Marine, you have two EPs out and now a full-length album. So how has this musical journey been for you guys so far?
It's been crazy because with every time we've released something, the budget has gone up, first of all. So the first album was probably made on a budget of around about $100. So the first EP, but about $100. Second EP, maybe around about $300, $400 would be that. And then now this one, I think, is about maybe quadruple that. So it's been a very expensive exercise this time round.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that every time we've wanted to put out something new, we've put more money into it in order to get a better product out. So yeah, it's been a great journey. Musically wise, I think that this was the best time to put out an album because we've all individually grown in such an amazing way. We are not only is our sound grown, but as musicians, I think we've grown tremendously. I mean, you can hear our lead guitarist, who was only 17 years old when we recorded the first EP, just how he's aged up until the release of this album. Because as obviously you get older, you get better at your musicianship and so on and so forth. And I know myself as a vocalist as well, I've grown tremendously. And when I go back and listen to those releases, although they're great in their own right, I sometimes think like, man, we could have done it so much better if we did it now. But that's why I always say, you know, every time a band puts out a new release, that's the best release they've ever done because that's years and years of growth. So yeah, I mean, we're inspired, like I said, by Kiss. And Paul Stanley says, if you want to hear how I sounded in 1975, go put on an album from then. But this is how I sound now, and I think it's the best I've ever sounded.
Awesome. And any plans to come up with an official music video from this album?
Music video, you know, I think we did a music video for the last EP that we put out, and that is, you know, you're putting in around about $600 or not even, probably more, into a music video, and you know, I think the return on investment isn't the same because obviously it's not the 80s or the 90s anymore. We don't have MTV to pay the bills. So, I think that if we had to put out a music video, I think we'd prefer to do a live show video where we could record the show and put it out, because I think that would make the band come across better to potential fans and listeners, because you really get to experience us the way that the audience get to experience us normally.
And would you like to share some of the highlight moments for the band?
Of course. So I think one of the biggest highlighted moments for us is the first time we came out of COVID. Obviously, with everything being completely gone in terms of the music industry here, and then we came out of COVID and we played our first show, and we managed to pack out the venue, and people were so hungry to come and watch live shows again. And I think that the rebirth of the music industry after COVID has been really awesome. So that's been a highlight for us. And I think also, another highlight for us is definitely being able to chat to you. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Great. And what's next for Marene?
What's next? So we're planning out, I hate saying this because then it makes people think that we don't really, we're not too phased about this album release, but we've already planned going into the studio in December to cut the next EP. So we're going to go in and record the next set of songs. We'll probably do another 4-song EP with a different engineer, because this release, the first two EPs we did on this album was all with the same engineer, Alan Simmons, and it sounds great. And I think we've reached that peak with him. And I think we'll go into the studio with a different engineer and find a new sound. Because every time you sit with a new guy, you get something that has a completely different sound. It grows, So I'd like to see where our sound can go with someone else that hasn't done previous work with us and that can bring fresh ideas to the band. So that's what we're planning for December, So like I said, December we'll probably go in and record, and we'll probably put something out around about, maybe April, May, June, somewhere around there. We'll plan it out and try to put something together for then next year. But never stop going. We try to keep marching forward. You got to always put something new out.
Amazing. And Tyler, finally, any message that you have for the fans around the world?
So a message I have to them is that thank you so much for all your support, because without you, what we do would be meaningless. We get on that stage, we put out music for you, the listener, because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to get up on the stage. We wouldn't be able to put out music. So I would be thanking them so much for supporting us and for listening to the album. And of course, like I said, without you, we can't do what we do.
And Tyler, I want to thank you so much for giving me today this wonderful opportunity to have you on this interview. A real pleasure to meet you. And thank you so much for putting up this amazing album, Rising After Midnight. As I said earlier, fantastic album. You guys are totally amazing. I love you guys. And I'm looking for more awesomeness from this band. And really hoping to see you guys.
You see the smile.
Yeah.
You see the smile. Thank you so much. Really, it means the world to me. Thank you so much for your support, for having us on today.
Sure, Tyler. And you have a great evening out there, and take care of yourselves.
Thank you. You too. Cheerio.
Cheers. Bye.